Rabbi Sam.
Chag Sameach, Rabbi Rena.
It's
so
great
to be
nice
together.
To be with you.
It's great to be back with you.
Joining us again.
Yes, welcome everybody.
By the way, I just want you to know, I decided to wear this shirt tonight because Passover is a holiday about justice and freedom, and I figured what more symbolizes justice and freedom than an RBG collar shirt, right?
Ooh, I love that.
Do you have any?
That is so wonderful. I do actually, but mine is not for such high, wonderful reasons. I knew that we were doing a bake-off today, and that there has to be a winner if we're baking off. So I chose something very special for that. It's not really in the spirit of the holiday like yours is, but it's more a comment on how I feel about our bake-off.
So what you're saying, you feel that you are the star baker.
Let's just say whatever happens, I will still have this apron.
Well, that's what are you going to be making for us today?
Well, okay. So I'm going to be making, you see, the thing is, you kind of struck the competitive side of me because you told me when we were preparing for this that you were going to not just make a side as we had planned, but also make dessert. And when you said that, I thought, what am I going to make in addition to my side? And before you knew it, I whipped up a few things. So I'm going to show you the first thing.
Okay.
The first thing that I will be making is Moroccan chicken parguiot. Moroccan chicken parguiot, which I don't know if you can see it. I've already been marinating
there with some beautiful marinade.
Yeah, so that's going to go right in the oven, and you'll get to see it when it's cooked after. It's chicken with all kinds of herbs, and it has garlic, and it has spices. I'll give you the recipe. It's really delicious.
The soup maven of Stephen Wise.
I guess I have. So this is the soup for vegetarians who don't want my matzo ball soup.
I want to smell it.
Which funny the way I said that, vegetarians who don't want my matzo ball soup, as if I'm having a big crowd when it's really just me and my husband and the kids. But and the last and final thing that I'm going to make is a kugel. Is a vegetable kugel that actually, because I've sort of cut out dairy for the most part, I am using a almond ricotta. Which is great for Passover, and eggs. And I'm going to use a little bit of almond flour as well. And then if there's time, I'm also going to make almond covered, like almond flour, little zucchini bites.
All right. Listen, I'm just going to say, when I said I might make something else, okay, I am making two for those out there who are like, what is she doing? I am making two very simple things. I am making one dish, which my family lovingly calls mush, because that's really what it is. It's a big pile of mush. I mean, like, I don't want to say it's basically baby food, but it is. It's just with extra stuff in it. It's like mashed up sweet potatoes and carrots with layers of apples and honey. It's delicious. We also
that's almost like a warm haroset.
It is, but it's all mashed together and mushy, and like we put it in the oven and it's delish. And then the other thing that I was going to make because I was like, it's so easy, is meringue cookies. So, because all I have to do, I have a KitchenAid. So like, I'm going to start my KitchenAid over there, and my egg whites are just going to, and then pour my sugar and it's nothing. And then, but I just want you to know, so nobody thinks that like I'm the like schlocky one here. I do actually like to pipe my meringues with some like food coloring and things like that, so they get all decorated. I know some people make their like, they make frog looking one. I don't, that's too far for me, but I do pipe them in a piping bag with some.
Actually haven't seen frog looking ones, and I do find meringues to be a little intimidating. So I think it's awesome that you're making those.
I don't know how that's possible, but all right, we should get cooking because we have a lot.
Let's do it.
Have a lot to make.
So
right.
also it has garlic. It has a little bit of turmeric, paprika, cumin,
Delicious.
salt. I think that's about it. And then you let it sit for about a half hour in the marinade. And then actually it's best if you grill it, but I'm going to bake it and broil it at the end tonight.
Oh, I love baking my chicken. It's like such a fun trick, you know?
Yeah, it really is. So I'm going to pop this in the oven.
You could like toss in a crock pot with some potatoes and be done.
Oh my gosh, that is a really good idea.
My theory on Passover cooking is that the best Passover dishes are always the ones that you would eat even if it wasn't Passover.
Yeah, so like, totally.
You know, not like a burger with no bun, because that's silly, but like, you know, like this chicken dish, you would totally eat that. You would just probably add like rolls and challah and, you know, if you're a person
absolutely
rice on Passover, you might add rice or whatever. So, you know, it's just, that's why, as you know, Rabbi Sam, I make my flourless chocolate cake on Passover. Ooh, that looks delicious.
So we'll see it after it's cooked. Your flourless chocolate cake is legendary. It is the flourless chocolate cake.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's not my flourless chocolate cake. I am going to give credit where credit is due and say that it is actually William Sonoma's flourless chocolate cake that I have baked really, really well.
But you bring it to life.
I do bring it to life. But you know, the thing that annoys me about making that is that, like many other Passover dishes, it is what I like to call super pachkedek.
Oh, is it?
Well, yeah, it involves about 7 different bowls. You've got to melt the chocolate in one bowl. You've got the egg whites in another bowl. You've got the egg yolks in another bowl. You've got the coffee that you have to mix in with a little water before you can. It's just like a lot of little steps and a lot of little bowls. And so I end up having like a sink full of dishes when I'm done. But I also prepped some things in advance. So I took my sweet potatoes and my carrots and I steamed them. And then I just literally put them in the blender and pureed them. It is literally baby food. Like, I don't know about you, but I made my own kids' baby food. And sweet potatoes and carrots were one of the ones I did very early on. So that's all it is. It's just mashed up. And in the past, we've used yams instead of sweet potatoes. It's basically the same thing anyway. So whatever.
I don't actually know what the difference is between a yam and a sweet potato.
I think there is a difference. I don't know what there is, but I'm sure someone's going to tell us in the comments now. And we'll feel very stupid. But yes, and now I am
we'll feel enlightened. How about that?
So,
you're slicing apples?
I'm peeling, yes. So you have to put the apple in between your layers of mushy stuff, like crisps up a little too. So you got a little extra. Plus, you know, the fun part of having apple.
You can eat as you go. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it wouldn't like actually last into the recipe for me, probably. I'd have to have 2.
Right.
I love apples.
You think I only...
Well done. Well done, my friend.
Well, also because I have learned over the years that I like a lot of layer with a lot of apple. You know, everybody in my family makes this a little different. And I like a fair amount of apple. I think it gives it the extra, like, something. So, I don't know.
I wish I could try it, Rena. It just sounds really good to me.
I wish I could. I wish we were, you know, I keep saying it. I said this to you about Hanukkah, that next year we're going to do this together.
You know what we should do next time, though, even if we do another bake-off this year?
Yes.
Is I should give you a recipe to cook, and you should give me a recipe to cook.
Oh, that
we typically make.
I'm not sure how I feel about that challenge.
Really?
No, because you like really cook. You like make up recipes and like find things in books and like you're pretty. My cooking is. I mean, I'm not a bad cook, don't get me wrong, but like.
Are you kidding? You just told me about your chocolate cake, which by the way is legendary, and it takes 7 different bowls. I make nothing like that. I'm actually not a big baker, to be honest.
All right, so maybe that's
except for challah.
Maybe
even though I have store baker,
but we can't make challah because it's fast.
So I guess you need this. You should be having this. You're the star baker of us.
Here's what you should do: is you should bake one of my recipes.
Okay.
And I will cook one of your recipes.
Deal.
The most important step of my recipe now.
Very important.
I mean, like, this is an essential. It's like, you know, it's like buttering the pan when you make a cake. You have to.
Yeah. So all I've done so far is mix together in this mixing bowl. Here, I'll show you.
What do you
eggs? And I'm mixing together eggs and the almond ricotta. And I also put in some garlic powder, some onion powder. You can put anything you want in there that you like. I had fresh herbs today, so because of the because the pargiote recipe. So I cut up some of those, and I'm going to add some parsley here. I'm going to add some parsley. I'm going to add some fresh dill, and broccoli will be our main star of the show today. So that's the recipe for today. And
the show,
king of vegetables.
It's a popular one in my house. So what is your favorite part of Passover, Rabbi Sam?
The seders. I love the seders. I love seders so much that when I'm finished the seder at Stephen Wise, I go to a second seder. And I stay up till 2 a.m.
That is a lot of
singing songs. And we stay up, we do the seder till, I'm not kidding, till 2 a.m. every time. It ends up about till 2. And we're doing the second half right till then, singing every word of every song and interrupting to discuss possible, we call them vort, which is like word of Torah. We interrupt to talk about, different explanations of interesting tidbits that we come across in the text, in the Haggadah. So I have these incredible memories of sitting around the table with my family and sort of banging on the table and singing away.
I do love the Seder also. I really do. I think it's just such a fun opportunity for my family to get together, for all of us to really sit there. We have such great family traditions. And, so growing up, my dad, when we lived upstate, my dad would get invited every year to do a Seder at Natov, which is a residence for people who are recovering from addiction.
Oh.
And most of the people who live there were not actually Jewish, but, this idea of slavery to freedom and redemption was so compelling for them. And so we'd be in this room with 100, 150 people, most of whom were not Jewish, and celebrating Passover with them every year. It was like a tradition that we did. And then, just doing those kinds of things.
That sounds so powerful. That sounds amazing. Really
cool. And also just being with my family in general is always really fun. And my dad and I have lots of fun games, and we have fun games that we've introduced to the kids, and my mom and I have cooking traditions. And, I used to cook with my grandma and everything else. So there's all sorts of, I think, fun traditions around the Seder, but I don't know.
Did you say you used to cook with your grandmother? Is that what you said?
Cook with my grandma. Yep.
Wow.
My brisket recipe, it comes from my grandmother, and I think it's from her mother. And it was one of those one year.
And where did it come from? What area of the world?
I'm sure Eastern Europe,
okay.
But it was one of these passed down forever recipes, but it was never written down. And so one year I finally said to her,
abyssal this, abyssal that kind of thing.
Literally, she says to me, okay. So one year I say to her, Grandma, you're going to Gramps, this is ridiculous. You're going to teach me how to make this. I love you. You're not a young woman, and somebody else has to know how to make this. This is silly. And she was like, whatever. So she stands there next to me and she goes, so first you're going to chop up the onions and the carrots and celery. And I go, well, how much do you put in? And she goes, till it looks right. I'm like, that's not till it looks right. I don't know what looks right. How many bay leaves? Till it's right. Till it just about literally, and I took notes the first time she cooked with me, and I still have those notes, and then she added to them and whatnot. So, and it's until it looks right, about this much, all of these kinds of things.
Wow. I love that.
But thank God that I learned the recipe. So, somebody else could make it. Now, all these years later, she's not with us, but she's always with us with her brisket. So,
oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Right? But
I love that.
The traditions but that's all of Passover, right? The things that you learn and pick up. I love cooking actually in general on Passover, because I think every day presents new challenges and new, I don't know.
And the connection, I so agree with you with family, and or if we didn't celebrate Passover growing up, just having that new connection with our inherited ancestors, and thinking about, what people have made through the ages and celebrated through the ages.
Yeah.
So I must just stop and say, I am putting Dijon mustard in the bottom. That is a secret to this. It tastes so much better if you do that.
I'm so jealous. All right. So I'm just going to show you what I did, which is that I put my mush in, and there's my layers of apple. And I don't know if you can really see it in the video, but I just did a coating of honey. Now, again, different people, I do like a drizzle, like a zigzaggy drizzle. Some people do a lot more honey than I do. But
that looks beautiful, Rena.
Sweet potato, carrot, apple, sweet enough. You don't need too much honey.
Yeah, it is pretty sweet.
What'll happen is those apples will kind of like get really nice and cinchy in there. But I'm super excited about that Dijon mustard on the bottom there because that looks delicious.
It makes it. It really changes it. As my mom used to love emerald, so she likes to always say it bams it up.
I was just preheating my oven, and then I moved my cutting board, and there is a mess of like orange liquid under it from all the like sweet potatoes and carrots, and so just cleaning this a little.
Cooking is messy.
Before I move over to start my meringues, which, okay, I just want you to know that like anybody who thinks meringues are difficult.
Yes, like me.
It's not. They're not difficult at all. In fact, especially if you have a KitchenAid, they're actually incredibly easy. The trick to meringues is patience. Ready, Sam? I'm going to give it to you. 2 egg whites and a half a cup of sugar. That's it.
All right. I can eyeball that.
We talk about measuring, like, you and my grandmother, until it looks right.
Until it looks right is my style, for sure.
Yeah.
Until it looks right. But the problem with until it looks right is I can never make something exactly the same, which really disappoints my son. He likes something and he wants it again, and then it's never quite the same.
Right. Just so you know, even when you do have a recipe, though, it's never going to look like that. Is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
And it's so easy. It just looks prettier because the tomatoes.
When that comes out of the oven, I think you should just send that over to me.
You know what? I totally wish I could. And I want your sweet potato dish. I really do.
Well, you're going to give me the recipe for that. I'm going to give you the recipe. I mean, I gave you the recipe for this. This is beyond easy. This is my thing.
This is just as easy. Seriously, it is.
Got to just throw things together easy.
Yeah. I got to make it work. And,
got to make it work.
All
right, I'm going to move over to the other side of my kitchen. Because we are going to start the meringues. So this is my trusty dusty KitchenAid. I won't tell you what number KitchenAid I'm up to, because that I think tells you everything you need to know about the kind of baker I am, that I killed them. What else? Okay, I'm gonna start this. Okay, now I'm telling you how you do this. Okay, so you put it in the KitchenAid. You're gonna with the just the egg whites, nothing else. And I'm literally just there it goes. And it's nice and loud. So I'm going to move over here. I'm going to start slowly adding my sugar now. So that's a trick I've learned as I've become a better baker. When I was a kid, we just kind of do it all together, but I've learned not to do that. So, and I'm also going to
wait, Rena, why? Yeah. Why don't you do it all together? What's better about that?
So you want to get your eggs to fluff up, and then you want to use the sugar to continue to fluff it and not break it apart.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
Understood.
But I'm also going to do something a little devilish and add just a hint of vanilla in there. Just like a tiny, I'm measuring it. Like I'm just going to do a little tiny pour. So, and then while I do that, I will share with you some of my favorite random Passover traditions. I think one of my favorite parts of the Seder every year, and you know this well, is the 4 children. I love that archetype of the different kinds of learners. I know, big shock to a educator. I like the learners. Of the different ways we ask questions, of the different ways we engage with one another, that like really that special moment of doing all that. And then I think for me, that somehow goes hand in hand with the 4 questions. And you know what I have to say as we get ready to close out is just, next year in Jerusalem, or maybe just next year in the synagogue together.
Next year in the synagogue when we're together. And I hope that we take this moment when we're, Mitzrayim in narrow places, in the narrow spaces that our lives have become through this pandemic, and look forward to the upcoming months, God willing, when things ease up, God willing, and when we can be more together. But certainly next year at this time, that freedom feeling will be very, very sweet. And we look forward to it.
Amen. Kami Hiratzon. Amen.
Chag Sameach, my friends.
Chag Sameach.